welcome back to the channel, and today I have my overviews for the final episode of The Bad Batch ever, and X-Men 97 Episode 8. Now, The Bad Batch. What a way to end a show. Like, holy hell, this episode was incredible. I loved all of it. You know, The Bad Batch slowly making their way towards the Tantis base, and then of course Omega releasing the Zillo Beast, which very much helped the Bad Batch get into the base. And then we saw Dr. Carr helping out Omega get to the Force-sensitive children, and Omega, unfortunately, didn't get there in time because they'd already escaped. Hell yeah. And then we see Dr. Rampart eventually show up again, and he attempts to extract all the data from Tantis so he can kind of buy his way back into the Empire. However, Nala stays with him, and, well, she arms a thermal detonator. However, he shoots her, but unfortunately for him, the thermal detonator went off immediately, which meant that all of the research that went on at Tantis was destroyed. All gone. Completely kaput. Bye-bye forever. Then, after that, well, we do see the Bad Batch make their way into the base. Unfortunately, they do get captured by the CX-2 operative, along with a few other operatives, which Dr. Hemlock awoke, which I was quite surprised to see. All had very differing weapons. Anyway, but that's not the point. They do eventually capture the Bad Batch, but on the way, Echo does find Omega, and eventually, they do free the clones. They do free them all, and Echo says to them, look, we need help to get our brothers back. You've gone through enough on your own, so I'm not going to ask you, but if you are going to join us, I'm not going to say no. And literally every single clone says, yeah, of course we will. They're our brothers too. And then there's an all-out fight between the operatives and the clones. Unfortunately, the clones do end up in quite a bad state, given that they were kind of poisoned. But they eventually recover, the Bad Batch escape, and the Mount Tantis base is absolutely decimated in the attack. It's completely destroyed. It's ruined. There is next to nothing left. But before that, Dr. Carr escapes on an Imperial shuttle with the Force-sensitive children leaving Omega behind to head to Pabu. We see them get there at the end of the episode. Anyway, eventually, everyone else follows, so the Bad Batch, who all survived, by the way, none of them died. Omega and all the clones from the prison end up going to Pabu, and then the episode kind of rounds off there. But not quite, because we eventually see Mount Tantis, or what's left of it, be inspected by the Empire, which come in on 2 Venator-class Star Destroyers from the Clone Wars, and our first ever Imperial Star Destroyer. Yeah, the Empire is well and truly here now. There's no going back. The Republic is gone, the Empire has risen from its ashes. And who's on the Imperial Star Destroyer? Governor Tarkin. And he says, due to Dr. Hemlock's failure, by the way, he was killed, along with Scorch, which I was kind of sad about, but it kind of made sense though, as Scorch had turned quite evil in the series. Governor Tarkin does say, divert all the funding from Project Necromancer to Project Stardust, which we know is the Death Star. So that's how that came to be. Now, and then at the end of the episode, we get a bit of a flash-forward scene to the future on Pabu with a much older Omega going to join the Rebel Alliance. And who's with her? Hunter. But we also know that Crosshair and Wrecker are still alive. And again, this is heading towards original trilogy era now, I think. Probably at the start of the original trilogy, so around New Hope time. So those 3 are still alive. And at the end of the episode, we do see her fly off to go join the rebellion. And Tex Goggles is on her ship's dashboard, which I thought was really cool. Now, for X-Men 97 Episode 8, this was a good episode, because we find out that there are more Sentinels, like Trask, last week. And by that I mean, there are a load of humans that have been converted into Sentinel cyborgs. It's terrifying. by this new villain called Bastion. And we eventually learn a bit about his backstory, how he was a mutant himself as a child, well, still is, obviously. But then eventually throughout the episode, we do see that the X-Men are encountered quite a lot by these cyborgs, and eventually they are all taken out by Magneto, who has been let loose. Is that a good idea? Probably not. But he is loose again. Now, we still don't know if Gambit is dead. I don't personally think he is. I think he might still be alive. But that's for next week. At the end of the episode, though, we do get a couple of cameos. In fact, that comes when Magneto kind of sends a shockwave around the planet, disabling pretty much all the electricity in the world and all the Sentinel cyborgs. And there are two, much like last week, with Omega Red, and the much more prominent Spider-Man cameo. Yeah, we had a Spider-Man cameo. I was very happy about that. I was so happy. I do think they are setting up some more shows to come back. In fact, I did see a rumour that they are planning to bring back the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s, so keep your eyes out for that sort of stuff. Yeah, this was a really good episode, and of course, at the very end, Charles Xavier returned to Earth and summoned all the X-Men. But that's where we left that episode. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for my final ever overview for The Bad Batch, and the 8th episode overview for X-Men 97, so please, like the vid, sub to mine and Roxanne's channels, her link's down in the description, my button is down there, please click those and then the bell icons to get our notifications. Comment as well, because why not, let me know what you thought of the final ever episode of The Bad Batch, and if you think there'll be a spin-off about the clones, and what you thought of episode 8 of X-Men 97. Once you've done that too, please follow me on my social medias. They'll be down in the link tree in the description, and below that is going to be Roxanne's website, and lastly, please do share the video with all your friends so they can join the infinite loop of liking, subscribing, commenting, following, and sharing, and around and around and around that loop. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with the Miami Grand Prix pre-race roundup. Goodbye!